Well, yeah, I think it was a interesting year for us, being a sophomore year, so to speak, the second year around. Started off kind of slow, but we had some injuries, had some guys who didn't have ITC clearance in time, so we started a little slow. But I think as the season progressed, we saw some improvement, not only in just individual players, but as a team, as a whole. But at the end of the day, it was just not enough to get us into the playoffs. But what we were very happy about was the improvement that we saw with the players, in the players. I thought, with S2 being a developmental team, we thought that we were heading in the right direction as far as getting the players ready for whoever can possibly be first team players next year, the year after, wherever that, whenever that happens for them. So all in all, it's still a work in progress. We had our last training session today. Thought the guys were upbeat. We've been training ever since we got knocked out, ever since the season finished. And sometimes I've been on teams before where you're not in the playoffs and practice kind of go to pieces. But I thought the guys stuck with it and they were upbeat and put in the effort. The past couple of weeks. So we're happy about that, and we think we have a good group of guys. But like in any team, from year to year, it doesn't stay the same, and especially with a team like this where we're trying to get it right and trying to make sure we have the right set of guys that we think has the potential to go into the first team. There are going to be some changes. I assured them that our decision is not the Bible. Just because we don't see it working for you here doesn't mean it's an all end for you. So to keep working and stay upbeat, even though it's maybe a difficult time. But there are some guys that we're definitely going to keep. We think that we're very happy about, and we see them being the next wave of the Sounders. So all in all, we think we have a good core group of guys to bring back, along with some of the academy kids that played up with us this year. We should have a solid, better core going into next season than we did going into this season.
Is there anybody in particular, do you think, is knocking on the door of the first team that might be ready to break in come, say, training camp next year?
Well, yeah, there are a couple of guys, but I don't feel at liberty to put that out there yet, because sometimes they're young guys,
yeah.
And they'll hear this, and I don't want things to get to guys' head. But there's some guys who we thought this year did well enough and have the potential to maybe even start in preseason, getting some experience there with the first team and see how that goes. Similar to what happened to Oalex Anderson last year,
yeah,
where we brought him into preseason. He did well, and he got him a first team contract. So we have a few guys there that we think are in that same boat. But right now I don't really want to name those guys, but we have some.
Sure. Put a little bit differently then, was there anybody that you thought really grew as a player this year that stood out that you were particularly proud of their development?
Well, yeah, we thought as a staff, we thought Jordy DeLem, even playing out of position, undersized center back. He's really a midfielder, but due to injuries or due to lack of players, we played him at center back this year. We thought he progressed really well and he played really well. Nuhu Tolo, our left back, we have very high hopes for players like that. And there's a couple of guys, Zach Matters in the midfield, we thought did well. Myron Samuel is a guy who's been around a couple of years now, and he's a very good soccer player. So there are guys there that we're very happy with, and we're happy with the progress they've been made, along with some other guys. We have some academy kids. Shandon Hopo, we thought came on late in the season once the academy got started again, and he's been doing well for the academy and played well with us. Got to start with us in that final game. So there's some players there that we're very happy about, and we'll just see how things pan out going into next season.
Sure.
So what does an academy player, without mentioning names, what are the attributes you're looking at? The physicality, ability to read the game, and what are those things that you're saying he's moving up?
Well, their ability, the mental speed of play from DA, which is the U18 to S2, there's a gap. The game is a little faster. You got to think a little faster. I'm not talking physical speed. I'm talking about being able to see things a little quicker. So we look for guys who can catch on to those things. Guys who are seeing that third pass or that third run, stuff like that. You have to have some physical ability, but I think the main difference, because it's it's 18 to 20 jump. It's not that big of an age jump. It's not big that of an experience jump. But I think that ability for guys to play faster, see things faster, propel them a little faster than some other guys who maybe maybe physically stronger or stuff like that. So it's a combination, but I think the biggest difference, where we see the separation is in that aspect, and we try to get those guys and train with us so that they improve in that, because if you play at that pace on a daily basis, it helps you, and it helps them when they go and play with their academy teams. They stand out. So just like we expect the first team guys when they come down to play with us to be at a high level, when these guys train with us from the academy, we expect when they go and play with the U18s that they raise the level of their team also. So it's a combination of the physical aspect of the game, which you have to have, because sometimes we play against teams who have 30-year-old guys on there, guys who been playing for quite some time now. So the physical part of it has to be there, but I think just the speed of play and the mental speed of play
what do you think
is
of
a
the
big
year
difference.
Oalex has had? Do you think it's been a pretty good year in his progression, with getting to roll with the first team a little bit?
Yes, I think he came on early in the season and was able to get some time off the bench, and had a couple of assists. Played well, created some fouls and stuff like that. But it's a situation where you're a rookie, and maybe the team is in a lull, or the team is in a situation where the playing time is not there for you, because maybe the coach wants to go with some more experienced guys, and for whatever reason, lately he hasn't gotten to play much. But in speaking to Smetsa, and I talked to him a lot about the younger guys, how they're doing in their training, and he's been training well. I think every week he's in the 18, and Oalex is one of those guys that yes, he hasn't played, but he's still going to work hard. Besides his soccer talent, he has a very good work ethic, and so I think he's ready if his number ever gets called. Hopefully it gets called, in these next few games here, and we'll see what happens. But I think he'll be ready, and I think we like the progress that he's making, even though he's not getting the games. He's been, progressing really well.
What are your thoughts on the veteran players that were maybe brought in to play for Sounders, the first team, and then they ended up playing for the second team, like Michael Farfan and Nathan Sturgis? What have you thought of their play in general?
Well, those two guys in particular, had some nagging injuries with the hamstring or groin problem and stuff like that. So it's kind of a difficult year for them, as far as, not being able to be physically fit for a long period of time to really make their mark. But, in training, you need those guys. You need those guys to give you that competition that, you're going to face. These are proven veteran MLS guys that who've been in the league for a while. And I think the first team benefited from having those guys out there. So, even though, they didn't see much first team playing time this year, I thought, they were good additions to, for, especially in practice, helping. And then when they came down, they showed their class when they played with us. We were very happy with them in S2 when they came down and played with us. So, but, you can only put 11 players on the field at a time. You can only dress 18. So, not everyone is going to get an opportunity. And you compound that with a couple of injuries here and there, you kind of get passed up. But it's the nature of the business.